A wildlife photographer in the Amazon documented an encounter in 2014 that contradicted everything he thought he understood about jaguar behavior. He was positioned alone in dense jungle with camera equipment waiting for a shot. A jaguar emerged from the vegetation 50 meters away. The cat stopped. It looked directly at the photographer for nearly 30 seconds without moving. Then it turned and disappeared back into the forest. The photographer had done everything the protocol said not to do. He was alone. He was stationary. He was essentially a sitting target in the territory of an apex predator that could have closed the distance and had every physical advantage. The jaguar left anyway. 2 hours later, a guide arrived with a group of tourists. Same location. Same time of day. A different jaguar emerged from the same vegetation at roughly the same distance. The guide immediately began backing away slowly while making eye contact. He raised himself to full height. He positioned the group behind him in a tighter formation. The jaguar watched the group for 10 seconds and vanished into the forest. What puzzled the photographer was which situation should have been more dangerous. The guide's group had done everything the protocol said to do. The photographer had done nothing right. Yet both jaguars had made the same decision in the same way. The variable was not behavior. The variable was what the jaguars were looking at. Start with what a predator is actually reading when it looks at a human. Animals do not perceive humans the way humans perceive other humans. They do not see a person. They see a configuration of physical characteristics that their evolutionary history has equipped them to interpret as threat or non-threat signals. The signals are not subtle. A human standing upright presents a vertical silhouette that no natural prey animal produces. Prey animals are horizontal. They are built to move forward and backward and sideways. A vertical configuration is associated with predators that have evolved to manipulate objects and to see from height. A standing human is not visually ambiguous to a large predator. It reads as predator adjacent. But there are degrees of predator adjacent. And those degrees matter enormously. Body symmetry and bilateral posture communicate information that predators read at a level far below conscious processing. A human standing upright with shoulders level and arms visible at both sides presents a symmetrical predatory configuration. The visual information being received is of something that is aware, alert, and capable of detecting movement in multiple directions simultaneously. A human crouching presents the same upright format but with reduced vertical height and a forward-leaning posture that reads as preparation for movement. A human lying down presents a horizontal configuration that is less obviously predatory. The photographer in the Amazon was sitting. His vertical axis was compressed. His posture was slumped. His upper body was folded forward over camera equipment. He did not look like an apex predator preparing to strike. He looked like something that was focused on a small area in front of it with no awareness of the surrounding space. That configuration reads as non-threat to an animal that understands threat through the lens of whether the creature can detect and respond to the predator's presence. Eye contact adds another layer that research in predator-prey dynamics has only recently begun to fully map. Forward-facing eyes in animals communicate predatory intent. But sustained eye contact communicates something more specific. Sustained eye contact from a creature that is also standing upright and presenting a symmetrical posture communicates active threat awareness. The guide in the Amazon who made eye contact with the second jaguar was communicating something specific. I see you. I know you are there. I am aware of your location and your distance from me. That communication is not threatening in the aggressive sense. It is communicating non-prey status. Prey animals do not make sustained eye contact with predators. They avoid it. Predators make eye contact with other predators when they are establishing territorial boundaries or assessing whether a conflict is worth pursuing. Eye contact that is coupled with a standing posture and raised height reads as predator-to-predator communication. The photographer was looking at his camera equipment. He was not making eye contact. He was not communicating awareness. He was communicating focus on something other than threat detection. That is the behavioral signature of prey. Movement pattern and speed communicate intent in ways that most humans never consciously recognize. Rapid movement reads as panic or predatory pursuit depending on context. Slow movement reads as either stalking or submission depending on the direction and the body posture it accompanies. Still silence reads as either hunting preparation or prey animal camouflage depending on the posture of the animal producing it. The guide's slow backward movement while maintaining eye contact and raised posture communicated something specific. I am leaving your territory. I am doing so deliberately and without fear. I am aware of you and I am choosing to remove myself. That is not prey behavior. That is competitor behavior. Two creatures that recognize each other as having equal right to the space they occupy and one of them choosing to yield that claim. The jaguar read that communication and accepted the yield without requiring enforcement. The photographer's stillness communicated something different. The photographer's sitting posture and downward gaze communicated focus on something small and immediate. The photographer was not monitoring the space around it. The photographer was not prepared to flee. That is prey animal behavior from the perspective of a predator observing it. There is a principle underneath all of this that animals appear to understand at a level far deeper than human language. Danger recognizes danger. An animal that reads as dangerous to another predator communicates awareness, readiness, and a willingness to defend territory or resources if necessary. An animal that reads as not dangerous communicates the opposite. Preoccupation. Lack of awareness. Lack of capacity to mount a credible defense. The jaguar looking at the photographer was encountering something that did not broadcast danger signals. It broadcast prey signals. A small, focused, vertically compressed creature that was not monitoring the space around it. The jaguar that looked at the guide was encountering something that broadcast dangerous signals. A creature that was standing upright, making eye contact, moving deliberately, and communicating awareness. Neither jaguar attacked. But the predatory interest level was different. The first jaguar was investigating potential prey. The second jaguar was respecting territorial boundaries between creatures that recognized each other as threats. Which brings everything back to what makes a human look dangerous to animals. It is not physical size. It is not visible weapons. It is not aggression or threat displays that the animal can see directly. It is the configuration of signals that animals read to determine whether something is aware of their presence and prepared to respond to it. A human that stands upright. That maintains eye contact. That moves deliberately. That raises its height and fills its space. That human looks dangerous because it looks like something that knows the predator is there. And to an animal that has evolved around the principle that awareness is threat, that knowledge is enough.